Hello everybody, and welcome back to the LJL Official, the unofficial cast coverage of the LJL 2020 Summer Split. I am still your current host, Alex, otherwise known as Sexy by Master, and of course I'm joined by the illustrious Hapgood brother duo of Initialize and Nightmare. Gentlemen, we saw the Jesters come victorious in their previous game. Now they must face the giants of the region coming in for their first game of the day, and that's going to be V3 Esports, and let's set expectations for this game on where we're all at with this. Nymara, would you mind to go first for expectations?
I could probably just play like a track of just like some random crying and screaming noises, and that would probably just describe what could happen in this game. Okay. V3 are the best team in the LJL.
Yeah?
After watching our games yesterday, they are undisputed. Best team in the LJL.
Yep.
Good luck, Rascal Jesters. Good luck.
Initialize?
That's it.
Kind of similar thoughts, really. I think V3 are head and shoulders ahead of the rest of the league right now.
So distant baby crying noises potentially for Rascal Jester incoming.
Getting increasingly closer, yes.
Okay. So am I right in assuming V3 for both of your predictions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 3 for 3. All right, let's go more optimistic for the Jesters. How can they win this?
Bring out the craziness, upset the early game, maybe get a good level 1. That tends to upset a lot of teams.
Okay.
We haven't really seen that to V3 happen to V3 that much.
No,
so
normally they do the level 1.
Exactly. So pick up something like Nautilus, Morgana, some stuff which is really good at level 1. If you can get your hands on Katarina as well, maybe that's how you do it. But you have to make the game go really not to plan. It has to go completely out the window, otherwise V3 will probably bring it back.
And you have to assume some amount of this will come from the jungle. Obviously, on both sides, we have very good junglers. Granted, Boogie does seem to be having a very strong run, as the rest of his team are also doing the carrying with him. So it does seem very powerful. Though, Hachimetra on the side of Rascal Jesters, Initialized, you must be excited to see these two face off for the first time this split.
For sure. I think I worry a little bit for Hachimetra in this game, only because jungler tends to be the product of their team to some extent. We talked about it before, especially in a meta where empowering your farming carry jungler to turn up in the enemy jungle, take away all their camps and starve them out can be really devastating. And V3, with the amount of pressure they have in lanes at the minute, could make Hachimetra's life really damn difficult, because it means that with the lane pressure allowing Boogie to invade, Hachimetra's options become more limited, and Boogie with options is a terror to behold.
It really, really is. That man has discovered many pathings and knows where you are even without a ward sometimes. We've seen it even against Steel, so anything is possible. Gentlemen, I think it's about time, instead of us waffling for ages, let's just get into this blast from the past and, well, let's remain optimistic until we see the pick and ban phase, and then we can start becoming more pessimistic, as I like to be. So, gentlemen, we're on to pick a bad phase. Good luck, and take it away.
You call a spade sometimes. We're going to call a pick and ban a pick and ban.
Indeed, we are. Yeah. And we're, of course, here into V3 Esports versus Rascal Jesters. We're going to see Paz, Boogie, Ace, Archer, and Reiner making the roster for V3 on the blue side this time around.
Rascal Jesters once again on the red side. So that is, once again, Cogcog, Hachimetra, Pink Art, and Nagi.
And a few bans here, which probably come as no surprise. It'll be Hachimetra's Trundle, which he looked pretty damn good on the last game. It's also going to be Pink's Katarina off the table, and if there's anything that might throw a spanner in the works, that might be top of the list for me.
The one thing which is relatively surprising is the Aphelios ban from V3, because that shows they don't want to first pick it. Archer has been a very, very good Aphelios. In fact, in week 1 and 2, I was like, look, I need to see them on something else and succeeding on them before I'm really happy with how this team is performing. They've done that now. They're picking up yet another champion. First, pick Ashe.
Oh, yes. And what does Art want to respond with? I'd love a Draven. I doubt it's a Draven, but I'd love a Draven. And maybe something like the Ezreal comes to mind as something else that's kind of on top of the AD carry pile right now, especially with the Aphelios band. Instead, gonna lock in the Kai'Sa here. Oh no, did get switched at the last second. I was like, wow, that's a bold return pick. But instead, the Karma left open will be picked up. It's a pick away from Ace. We know it's a strong pick right now. I like it.
It's decent, and when you've not got the Syndra there to punish it in lane, the Kai'Sa is still locked in. This will be a feed the art. We were talking about Vayne. Space Vayne has, of course, been locked in. Kai'Sa is kind of the let's trust our AD carry to carry. You can dive alongside the rest of your team. Rascal Jester love doing that, and give all the tools to Art to carry.
I will say I worry a little bit for Art in that Kai'Sa's range is not fantastic. The volley and the range from Ashe can punish the Kai'Sa if she's not careful. So I'm going to wait until Kai'Sa gets out of laning phase before I'm ready to call this a good pick. And V3 will go towards the Galio. And I have more faith in Ace to get that Galio into the right positions with the coordination of V3 than I did with Dasher in the last game.
Really like V3 to lock in the Nautilus right now, because Kai'Sa Nautilus is the primary laning partner for the Kai'Sa. They might not worry about that at all, though. Get the pressure jungler for Boogie. It's the Graves.
So there is the Graves. We know that Boogie plays that down well. Nymeira's called out the Nautilus here as an option.
But now you have to lock in your jungler. Otherwise,
you would have to lock in a jungler. Perhaps there would be a lot to do. But of course, Hachimachi's got a fairly big champion pool, and maybe you feel confident that the 2 remaining bans would still be fine. You'd still have options available.
The last time I saw a jungler to no jungler locked in against V3, it was Sengoku on my memory, and V3 forced the jungler all the way down to Kayn,
which was interesting.
And this will be the second Jarvan we've seen. However,
does pair up well with Kai'Sa.
Does pair up well with the Hachimatch, with Kai'Sa. You're right. It's that huge engage option. You can do well into the melee pick of Galio in the mid lane, but if you're trying to do that with a common mid lane, still a flex pick, of course, it is a little hard to finish off the kill into Galio.
Yes, I kind of agree. Galio is tanky enough that you can deal with a certain amount of that pressure, but it's good engage option, and it is a go button, which I think at the minute with where the Jesters are at, having straight go buttons makes a lot of sense to them. On the other side, I think V3 pretty happy with their initial draft. It's great AD carry in the current meta. It's a good engage from that. It's Boogie on one of his best damn champions, and it's Ace on a pick that can leave lane, turn up somewhere else, impact wherever Boogie's going to be.
I would like to see an Ornn ban now from V3. The Braum's been banned away from Rascal Jester. Means that, Braum is kind of that low-key Ornn counter. Cog has been playing well, and Ornn is one of his best champions. Works well for that long-range engage option once again. Gets on top of the Ashe, and it would allow Kai'Sa to dive into those fights without even having to commit with the Jarvan in that case. Could just burn out more supports, though, because the Thresh and the Nautilus have been taken away, wasn't locked in the first round. Means that Kai'Sa's preferred pairings are gone now.
Instead, they go towards the Kayle, which we saw Cog cause some issues with in the last game. Also, of course, Kayle and Karma is a good save the carry duo and hell save yourself duo.
Save the carry, save the world.
And it's not going to be available. It's banned away. Instead, Rascal Jesters go for another hard engage option. Nagi will be going towards the Leona. Another easy way to get those plasma stacks up for the Kai'Sa.
So when you hit level 2, lots of kill combo. And with Rascal Jester not picking themselves up the Ornn, it's going to be Paz picking it up for V3.
Okay, so Ornn is locked in. It's the takeaway. There is no Braum, of course, for either side at this point, so it will be free engage.
So Yasuo, obviously.
Yasuo is the way forwards, but no, instead it's a set, which is a disappointment to us all. And that's looking like a set support. Yes,
Galio mid. It could also be set mid, Galio support. That would be unlikely.
Unlikely, yes.
Yeah, I think the set's far better in the support role. We know Reiner has a excellent set. Had a couple of our supports over in the LJL picking that up in this last split, of course, over playoffs as well.
But something else that's pretty excellent is Cog's Wukong, which will go back towards here. So hard engage from the Jesters here with the Jarvan, the Leona, and of course the Wukong on top of it, allowing Kai'Sa to come diving in. You know exactly what the Jesters are going to want to do, and that is go forwards. V3, on the other hand, though, it'll be Ornn and Ashe ult into set going forwards into Galio on top of it with as much damage as Boogie and Archer can throw as well.
At least Rascal Jesters have a very clear team fight identity.
They do.
You hit the CC and everyone goes in. Just everyone goes in. The question, and there is something which is useful about that, right? Because you have the range advantage on stuff like Karma and the Kai'Sa against someone like Galio if he's caught out. Problem is, we saw what happens when you dive into a Galio from CGA versus Burning Ball. You dive into a Galio and
he ults you.
He ults you, he taunts you. There's also a set there as well. He can just either bring you out of the fight or keep you in the fight with Facebreaker and Showstopper. And hopefully peel for the Ashe. If you stand with those champions on top of your AD carry, I'm not sure they can finish off that Ashe, particularly if you get up to that third item, Death Stance. Because if you don't have that Karma in the mid lane, you can go towards that and make yourself very survivable. If Archer and Reiner get ahead in this game, it is all going to be all going to be about killing off that Ashe, do you have the damage breakpoints to do so? Because that's where your team fight is going to hinge around.
And I will say that one-on-one, we've kind of mentioned that there is the range advantage for Ashe v Kai'Sa, and that can be a bit difficult in the early laning phase. It's probably easier for Leona to engage than the set early on. But having said that, flash face breakers are a damn dangerous thing. And I feel that Archer Rhino should be able to get that advantage, at least on paper, I think.
It kind of reminds me of the old samurai movies where the person who swings first tends to lose, because if you engage into a set when he has everything up, he keeps you in the combat and then follows up with a haymaker with that true damage, which goes through the aftershock, resistance and stuff like that. However, if set goes in and then is locked in place in the same way, the Kai'Sa stacks up the plasma and it gets really awkward. So a lot of this is going to be about, can you land the CC onto the AD carry and burst them out so they can't turn it around? Because if you don't threaten them enough, the turnaround from their support is going to be pretty huge in itself. We're going to pause.
Hooray!
No
Just
Volibear.
what we always wanted. There is no Volibear, so the pause is sadly just an in-game variety. Not quite sure what's going on, but it looks like potentially that'll be Paz having some issues there in the top lane for V3. Talking with one of the referees right now. See where that ends up.
And it is so great to see these guys back on stage. It's been a long time coming. It's been nice.
Yes, of course it is. The LJL is officially back on land in some respects. Of course, it's in the same way that, say, the LCK is. There is no audience. Everything's been kept very socially distant, but we are at least in a LAN environment.
I believe the VCS is maybe the one league which does have audiences right now.
Really? I didn't know VCS still had audiences.
Yeah, well, as far as I'm aware, someone from the VCS English crew, who are a great bunch, by the way, I absolutely love those guys. One of the people on their crew was going to the arena and seeing the players walking in and out. I'm not sure if they were actually in. I'm not sure whether they were just there to watch people walking in and out of the venue, or whether they were there themselves. But as far as I'm aware,
backstage,
everything is in everything's LAN. That's really cool to see, because it's nice to see the rookies get stage time. That's the thing which obviously at the start of the split, the first 2 weeks, all of these players were playing their debuts, not in front of an audience, not on the stage, not on camera, and that's kind of sad. But they are here now. Making the most out of it.
Well, I suppose we ought to be making the most out of this pause. That's what we really ought to be doing.
No.
And I kind of want to
take a break. Take 5, everyone.
No.
I
need don't listen to him. He's lying, filthy lie. Stay around where you are. Master One will deal with him later. I kind of want to take our eyes back to the draft and where we're at. Obviously, I kind of harped on about how I thought Boogie was going to have at least pre-game with what I was expecting, an easier time to hatch a match just due to the way that V3 play their lanes. Having seen the draft now, do you think that still holds true?
I think that V3 are just going to do their regular thing. I think they're just going to do their regular thing.
No, but what is their regular thing? You got to go further than that. You got to tell me what they're doing and how.
I think that Boogie is just going to connect with his lanes, and they're going to do that secret thing which they do in every game, which means that they have found that winning secret, and the secret is... And if you didn't catch any of that, I can't say it again. The powers which be will not allow me to say that.
So what you said was... Interesting. Wow, that's really interesting. I see.
And that's how V3 are winning the league right now. It's really nothing. It's nothing more than that.
No, yeah, we shared those secrets on stream, and obviously that was a risk from us. So if people come and haunt us, then you'll know why. But for now, you know as much as we do.
I have a sneaking suspicion I won't be casting another game after this.
No, exactly. Same here. We're in trouble. I can hear them knocking at the door right now.
Oh, that might be pizza.
Might be
pizza. It could be pizza.
Morning pizza. Yes.
I actually have some cold pizza I'm gonna have after this game.
You too.
But yeah,
just thank me. I put it in the fridge. You forgot to.
Wait, you did? Oh, you scholar. You're great. Oh, nice.
There you go. See, that's older brother duties right there.
Oh,
this dumbass can't even put his food in the fridge. Just that's an issue with color casters. All they do is league. They don't know the real life that exists beyond the computer screen.
I have been playing about 10 games a day recently.
Damn, son! What? This is lockdown for you, man.
It's lockdown. I've avoided it for so long, and I'm finally kind of going back and onto the Rift and trying to regain my lost form and laning phase and stuff. I don't have to talk about that anymore.
No, you don't.
Game's back.
Well, yeah. Last time I spoke about BM and in fact just being B. The reason that Nymera knows so much about that is he is intimately aware of what it means to be just B.
In so many walks of life. It's like my grade in life. Like you have a B. You did okay, I guess. You could have a B for life.
Oh, you're an S+ to me.
Aww.
An S+ to me. That's the
do
one. That's the one.
Do I get a Mastery 7 shard?
Yeah. Younger brother Mastery 7 shard. Here you go. Top spot.
Hooray.
It's taken you 24 years to get to that point. Congrats, buddy.
Of course, it was my birthday recently. Oh, that's interesting. I'll start with Sweeper.
Yeah, I suppose that
is
is
quite
actually a
interesting.
curious one. I suppose it offers a little bit more security in terms of like
Doesn't
not
know when you
having
walk into a brush though.
Oh, here we go. Nagi though going to drop find a Zenith Blade in, but that's a great face break to prevent a further engage. Archer though will end up a bit lower down, but Rascal Jester's here to play aggressive in the early game.
I think they were trying to burn something so Hachimecha can come down for an early gank. He's gone red buff, pathing down towards blue, and looking to be active on the map early. Yeah, that's what happens when you're undefeated in the league. That 20% is quite bold from Rascal Jester's fans. Hachimecha is not even going to find himself any kind of opening into that bot lane.
Level 2 gank.
Tried to look for that level 2 and is now behind on the Graves.
AI vote once again in favor of the Jesters early on into this game, but I think the Twitter vote might speak a little bit truer here for now. Of course, game has only just started. Jesters have options. We talked about it. They have the easiest go buttons in all history, pretty much, with what their comp is going. You press R and you turn up in the right place. On the other side, though, V3 have got ways to respond to that dive. There's cleanse on Archer as well, so he's not as easy to lock down as perhaps Jesters would like. But for now, things looking pretty even early on into this game.
Relatively even. We see where the first lane priorities are going, kind of even in the mid lane. Hachimecha finding his way into the bot lane. Boogie is also here, though. Oh, he's just spotted him in that tri-brush. So junglers both aware that they're here.
They know where everything is. Reiner's going to walk up, and Hachimecha's gank attempt will be averted. Boogie in the right place at the right time, with a camp to his name as well, because he did go for more of a full clear. Also puts Hachimecha's camp timers on a bit of a weird schedule now with the way things are, because Boogie's cleared a little bit more efficiently. It will mean that Hachimecha, while it looks okay right now, when he comes to back out onto the map to farm, his camps are just going to be slower to come back up, as there's a big charge here in a Cog. Use the warrior tricks to get out, but he's got biscuits and pots, so he'll probably be likely fine, and he's potentially looking for a back early on anyway.
So the reason Sam says that Hachimecha is kind of going to be inefficiently pathing from this point, he hasn't cleared a whole quadrant, which means that when they come back up and when he's kind of going back, so if he goes and clears his top side right now, he doesn't get to take red buff. He doesn't get to have those shorter travel time between camps, which means he's taking like an extra 4 or 5 seconds to get between his Raptors and his Krugs, where Boogie, when he does clear out a full a quadrant when they come back up again, very quick to run between those camps, very quick to get those camp scores back up, and he'll be just more active on the map because he doesn't have to spend that time walking between camps.
Well, more active is one way of putting it. We're thinking we might get some activity in mid lane, though, because there goes the Justice Punch from Ace, and that will force a flash out of Pink.
Just a Justice Punch and a Justice Flash. No, that's not how it works. Ace managing to force out that summoner with Boogie being, as we were talking about, active on the map. He can go back to his camps when he sees fit. Looks like Karma's been forced towards that top side as well, forced away from that turret for now.
They are indeed, and we said there was potentially early pressure available to V3's bot lane, and they found it so far. They got themselves to play early on. CS is pretty damn even, but Cog having just come back to lane with a cull in hand is already back down to half HP, but has 3 pots and 2 biscuits in inventory, so happy to stick in and sustain for the long haul.
And Paz has been relatively quiet on the V3 lineup compared to some top laners in the LJL, but this guy has still been the stalwart. He has not really been giving advantages to be found to the enemy teams, and he's mastering this laning phase right now.
Yes, we're seeing Cog farming pretty well under tower there. Claims pretty much everything but 1, as far as I saw, possibly 2 now that didn't take up to 32. So feeling pretty content. Boogie, though, is at this top side, though, and Cog has to be a little bit afraid. Paz low on mana, though. And that might mean charges are hard to find. But here we go. Now we're going to see the searing charge come in for the knock up. There's the smoke screen. Forced the flash out of Cog. They're still looking for the kill. Can't quite find it. That'll be flash burn from both top laners, but no kill to be found.
No, what this might do is force out the teleport from Cog. All things said and done. Paz not having the mana to stick around in lane right now might also stop him from, well, might force out his teleport in the long run.
May do. We're here with a slight freeze on our end, but I'm sure that will be resolved fairly shortly. We'll see how that goes in and out. But for now, we've got a lovely freeze frame. Cog low HP next to his top lane.
Oh, isn't that nice?
It's a nice view.
Yeah. Cog really not enjoying it so much, though. Probably not enjoying it as much as we are.
picture taken 20 seconds before disaster. Is that we go? As we say that, we get another freeze frame of Kong in desperate danger, and we're seeing Paz, Boogie, and a teleport. We've got to connect the dots, and I'm assuming Kong is likely to fall here. He has no flash stuck around in lane. And I'm assuming he's dead, is what I'm assuming. I don't know whether that's actually true.
It's in that one kind of part with Schrodinger's cat. We don't know whether they're alive. We don't know whether they're dead. Until we observe it, nothing has happened.
There's just very low health bars, is what I'm seeing right now.
I'm also seeing a Call of the Forge. Well, it's not Call of the Forge God. I'm seeing a lot of brittle stuff. There was one kill.
There was a kill. And Hachimecha is on the bot side taking a Scuttle Crab, and we know that somebody died. Hooray!
The Scuttle Crab died!
All right, there was a teleport in from, I believe it was Ace, who's now switched over to the Ignite with the Spellbook. We have seen an assist onto the Ornn, a kill onto Boogie's Graves. Good stuff for V3 diving in the top side. Hachimecha came in to try and steal away some Raptors. Might now be in trouble, though, because Reiner has roamed up. The Facebreaker, of course, doesn't have the other side to it to get the stun. That means that Hachimecha gets to walk out, but First Blood over to V3 is what we found coming out of our slight freeze frame.
Right, so it looks like top lane is going pretty well for V3. I think we can say that. There is a CS advantage, there's a kill to the side of Boogie as well. So Graves being able to leverage that advantage across the map. Also, while all this is happening, there is a 10 CS lead for bot lane for V3.
Well, there you go. There is that big CS lead. We've seen the kill in top side. V3 doing V3 things early on. They're looking to get the taunt onto Ace. That was an early cleanse as well, and that means that Pink goes down to Ace, doing up with Boogie so down well over the last few weeks. Fight in the bot side, though. Nagi finds a good route in. That Haymaker doesn't get the true damage, and health bar trade's pretty even in that bot side, even if the CS lead is very much in favor of Archer and Reiner right now.
It's removing health bars, but remember, when Set goes low HP, he does regen quicker, so he does get the artificial advantage on that, or rather like the long-term advantage. However, he's going to reset anyway. Doesn't matter. I wonder what the second back will be for V3. It's actually going to be the Vamp Scepter picked up for Archer. So that's an important breakpoint. It means the sustain is available there for V3 when it's not available for Rascal Jester's bot lane.
That's worth keeping your eyes on. That sustain is a big deal. Karma, I suppose, will offer that artificially as the game goes on. Once you get the Athenes. Have you used Unofficial already? Well, there you go. Well,
I just used that.
Oh, well, there you go then. Okay, so I've used it too now. Artificial is a great word. We've used it a few times. We'll find something else to say. Synthetic.
No. That's not bad. And it's LJL, Become Human.
LJL, Become Human.
That's what the bot is going to do.
I do want to have a look here at Ace's stats, though, which are pretty spectacular. The DPM is not fabulous, I suppose. It's not bad, but for Galio, that's pretty damn good. The kill participation is great. The KDA is superb, and there's assists per gold
game.
I was thinking, is this for gold? No, that would be.
That's really high. I mean, Sam, you know that you get like 9,000 gold in a game.
Yeah, it would be great
for him to have 8 assists per gold. You would have to. In fact, I'm actually not sure that's even possible. Because think about it this way. As the game time goes up, you get, 2 gold a second or something? It means that every second he's going to have to be getting 18 assists.
Behold Earth, the champion.
It's PvP. We've brought back Odyssey. We brought back a Herald fight as well.
Pigs in trouble, though. That is a just supposed to come down. That will be another flash straight out. God's hit from an arrow from down. And the RKO will be Aces to pick up. 3-0 is V3 on the scorecard.
Oh, no.
They'll get the rip. Hachimecha makes a good flash out. That's stylish plays. But all it is styling a save of his life.
That's actually so slick.
With the win in the fight. And yeah, that was pretty slick from Hachimecha. Doesn't get him anything. Gets him out alive, but there's nothing else to be gained.
It's there's a eulogy to be written here. Hachimecha's just used the Dragon Strike and didn't get the Herald, and just Cataclysm flashes out. That was really cool, dude.
It looked real good. It beat the face breaker timing as well. Reiner kind of blinking like, where did the Jarvan go?
Now you see him, now you don't. And you also don't see the Herald either. It's in the inventory. Boogie has the extra 3.5 minutes to try and get those plates out. That's the replay.
Yeah, that's just Hachimecha walking away. We know that's actually what we wanted to see. Just Hachimecha walking away.
Honestly,
look, Jesters may well lose this game. They're likely to. But that play is all that really mattered.
Honestly, that's all I needed to see. Yeah, I love how production has to confirm after all the weird things. We've got
we go! All right. Let's see this one more time.
Nagi sidesteps. Wukong does not. I really like this combo. It's the Searing Charge into immediate second headbutt from the Call of the Forge God. Gets extra CC, and that's all we get to see. That's Replay's on point this game.
Yeah, that's all we really need to see was the death of Wukong. None of that stylish play out of Hatchemet. It's too cool to show on stream.
One thing to say though.
Oh yes.
It's actually the BF sword coming out of art. I was like, earlier I was like, oh yeah, that's the thing. There's no flash on Pinky's.
Alright, there's Pinky's probably dead. He's gonna get died.
So back to
between
items.
2 turrets.
So back to more important things like Eddie carries, I guess.
Storm Razor?
It'll be Essence Reaver, probably. Dragon's up too. That's a nice thing. V3 are taking everything across the map right now. Pink has been
They're up
put into the
3,500
gutter.
gold.
They're up 3,500 gold. There's a Herald to be put in as soon as they've killed this mid lane as well. That could go anywhere.
Nuggy?
I don't think he wants this.
Okay,
I
well,
really
he's
don't think he
walked into
wants
that.
this.
They're going to think about trying to go in. Nuggy flashes out, and no, he didn't really want that. Ace takes about half his HP bar, but flash down for Nuggy for some HP on Galio doesn't feel like a great trade.
So when I said you need this game to go off the rails for Rascal Jester and to kind of take master of the chaos, they've maybe done the first bit, not done the second bit. The second bit is not under their control. V3 are very much winning out on all of these isolated engagements. And this Galio now has 3 kills. He's got Predator Belt very early into this game. He's going to be nuking people from orbit.
And, well, speaking of nuking, there will be a tower that is scheduled for orbital demolition. Here comes the Rift Herald, which will surely secure the tower. He says it's on 1 HP and does go down.
Oh, yes, the gold. The gold is over to Paz. That is the person you want to have the gold.
Well, I think Boogie was possibly close enough to pick some of that up.
Yeah,
as well. So with the way that the Herald works with the person who summoned it, so that's good
It's got
news.
like a double leash range. It's almost global, honestly, when you summon
very
it.
massive.
Unless you manage to get a recall.
Well, that is a big gold advantage, particularly in every lane.
Everyone.
Everyone.
It's like 1,000 gold for 3 rolls.
It's Arch's doing a decent job of staying closer, but it's still a gold lead to Archer that's not exactly small. And V3 are just frankly running away with this game right now. They are 5,000 gold up. It's not even 13 minutes.
I feel like Reiner could be doing more with his gold lead, you know. I feel like he could be 1,000 gold up himself. I just think that he doesn't have the fighting spirit right now. Yeah.
He literally does. He's got something called grit, which is all about fighting spirit. Like his champion literally has it in kit.
Maybe you should have more of that.
Then hit him more, and then he gets it.
Art has a Dirk.
Duskblade? Or he just needs the damage now?
He has a Dirk.
Okay.
Kai'Sa does a lot of magic damage. Lethality doesn't help with that at all. It's
Okay, right before we flame it, be careful now. Analyze this. I would analysis this, but analyze this.
The Q's magic damage, the passive is magic damage. Pretty much everything but auto attacks is magic damage from Kai'Sa.
Okay. Is there any AD scalings on her kit?
There are AD scalings, but then you get more raw AD from going more Muramana, and so you will have that Q upgrade right now, but this is very nonsensical from Art. You're not getting your E upgrade. You're not getting any attack speed in earlier into their kit.
Yeah, we're seeing
I am struggling to reason with this. I've seen Kai'Sa has a varied build paths. You can go for stuff like Essence Reaver first. You can go for stuff like Storm Razor first. More commonly, we're seeing Muramana. You can even go Rage Blade into full AP or whatever, something like that, right? But normally we see the build orders kind of on the rails for those first 2 items into Mana Moon, into Rage Blade, and then you go something a bit weird afterwards. I'm not even too sure. I mean, potentially it's a new thing, and I've completely missed on the trend. I just don't see it right now.
Okay, so as far as we can tell, weird build path from Art, possibly not the most efficient thing he could be doing. Maybe he just wants the Q upgrade right now.
Yeah, production. Can you just tell me if any of the abilities are physical damage? Like, is the Q physical damage? In that case, I could see it. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Okay, well, we sent production to go have a look at that. Thank you, Mass Swan. We'll find out how that works out. But again, we don't want to harp on it too much. But like, as far as we can tell,
do.
Well, yeah, okay. Well,
if
we
it's
do.
Bad, I do.
We do want to harp on it. It feels like an odd choice. Because as far as we can tell, doesn't seem to be a great idea.
Kai'Sa has to be doing the lion's share of the damage. Reiner is taking damage.
He is getting knocked up, but he's got a Haymaker, and Ace is coming around. Boogie's also here. Here comes that Hero's entrance against Reiner out, and that will be a very dead Kai'Sa. That Dirk didn't do a lot right there because she was dead. Double kill over for Graves. Boogie is going to run over this fight. He's got a triple now. He's looking for more. It won't be a 4th because, of course, Archer turns up to claim that one, and Pink will at least get to run away. But that is 4 kills for absolutely nothing for the Jesters.
Oh, look, that's what you can do with a lethality champion who actually uses lethality well. I'm sorry, that just doesn't make any sense. Art goes down with a whimper, well, and also a bang as well, because Boogie does pick up that kill. Reiner tried to get pick off, but when you're trying to pick off a set, it just doesn't work. He has the Haymaker, that huge shield, has HP and inventory as well. 8-0 for V3. Not on course for a perfect game because, of course, that Dragon went down for Rascal Jesters. Gonna go look back at this replay. Has Phase Rush from that Omnistone. Hatchmatcher lands the knockup and Art gets a single target Q, but with the Galio ult there, it forces them to retreat. Reiner then flashes away, and Galio, with those huge amount of kills, has a huge amount of damage to go with it.
Pink ward for Galio in the side lane bush. Pink ward for Boogie up in the red buff bush. And they just turn around and fight it all in their favor by the time it is done. Cog here. Trading a little bit with Paz, but a little less to be seen. It's 3 turrets to none as well at this point as well. And a 8,000 gold lead for V3, which is pretty monolithic this early into the game.
Yeah.
Shows in the items. Blade of the Ruin King, 2 items done for Galio this early on. It's a Dirk and a Warrior in charge. Hell, that's a full Edge of Night now for Graves. That is Iceborne Gauntlet on Orm because, hell, he wants to be joining the damage numbers too.
Things are even... So when you get to... I mean, Edge of Night on Boogie is really good because you don't need the Black Cleaver because you have AP solo lanes. Ornn does majority magic damage as well. So the Black Cleaver Shred only benefits Archer, whereas you have a better individual utility from the Spell Shield or the Edge of Night. It means you can walk up and take a Zenith Blade, take a stop yourself getting engaged onto by the Leonar ultimate, something like that. So yeah, and as you can see, with this lead comes the XP leads as well. Archer is ahead of all solo lanes from Rascal Jester as well, and he's only the 4th highest on his team.
Well, that is a difficult space to be right now. Okay, so we're going to see some interesting things coming out. Production is suggesting that he's been spotting a little bit of Boogie building this one out in solo queue, looking to do it specifically into Wukong because the Edge of Night can invalidate that first option of the ult. You can dance around him a little bit more, and I can see that.
No, but the thing is, though, it gets popped from the E. So if you get E into ult, it doesn't actually matter.
Okay.
So it's just better when you have AP solo lanes, really.
Well, there you go. I mean, the other option would, of course, been an Umbral Glaive, which we've seen a few Graves do, which just offers a bit more vision control. Edge of Night is the more selfish build. It's a more brawler build, I guess. Allows you to be a bit more aggressive in those fights. But this is Boogie we're talking about, so no surprise to see that.
And Boogie, he knows his stuff. I'm going to trust him on this. And well, what we've seen, I mean, I know that LS says, look, if you've got no AD on your team, don't build Black Cleaver. It's too much gold for what it's worth. Go get yourself some lethality. That 10 flat lethality. And you kind of see, so you see that Art right there has 57 armor. And Black Cleaver at max stacks will do a similar amount of lethality, whereas if you have the Edge of Night with that 10 lethality, it effectively gives you that for your entire combo rather than stacking it throughout it.
Okay, so you've heard the reasoning there. We know kind of why we don't want the Black Cleaver on this Graves with the lack of auto attackers outside of Archer. Like a bit of an inefficient buy. So, it's taking stock here as we crest the 19-minute mark. The gold lead is still pretty much 9,000 for V3. We've got those item discrepancies still pretty huge. Rascal Jesters have at least managed to get their way up to some complete items. I'm looking at Athenes. I'm looking at Black Cleaver. I'm looking at an Essence Reaver in inventory for Art. But I don't feel they're in a particularly good position to fight, but their team comp demands they do.
By the way, it is physical damage on the Kaiser Q. That's what you're going for. You're going for like the auto Q10 missile one shot. That's what you're going for.
Okay.
So maybe that's actually what Art's going for.
Okay, big fight. Engaged. Going to try and get something, but that is now a showstopper onto Nuggy out. Now, here comes the Cataclysm onto Archer in the backline, but Boogie deletes the job. Just disappears. Cog getting something down. Archer gets one. That's going to be a kill onto the Ash, as we said, because Cog got it, but it's still a double for the Graves, and it will be 1-2 in favor of V3. They've been spotted, have Jesters in this bush over here, and they're going to continue to chase a little. Health bars are still massively in favor of V3, even if the kill score wasn't that favorable.
And every time this happens, V3 gets something else after it as well, even if it's just clearing out an extra couple of camps. Hatchamacha, it just cannot be relevant in this game. Boogie is 6-0-4. He's 100% kill participation. He's very fed this game. He doesn't even have to go defensive boots. He went Berserker Greaves. Yeah, that tells you enough about this game. Boogie has... Graves always goes for defensive boots, pretty much, because he loves to brawl. He gets up close to you. Feeling that he doesn't even need that against this dive burst combo of Rascal Jester, that is something.
10,000 gold ahead at 20 minutes is, well... It's 1,000 gold per minute. You're changing the difference by, which is pretty damn well. 500 gold a minute by every golden minute.
Teleport.
Basically what you're going for. Teleport does come in. Boogie now may be in trouble. There is the knock up that Hachimecha goes back. Boogie just turns it around. That health bar just disappears and Hachimecha goes, what the hell? I thought I found the engage. That's going to be a flash over the wall trying to get the Nimbus Cloak speed to get the speed up. Not quite enough. But Ace goes in and duos up with Boogie's collateral damage to get the kill. There's the call of the Forge God and it's just going to be a double in for Ace and V3. This is why we have them at the top of the league.
It is, and honestly, at this point, probably the Nexus is going to be the collateral damage from all this head smashing that's going on from V3. 706 still at that 100% kill participation is Boogie, being active all across the map, being active in every fight, and who else has been active? It has been Ace on the Galio. We saw his stats crop up on stream. This guy is such a good player of this champion. Well, he's found his niche. He's found it. We talked about that previously in the podcast. This guy just knows what he's doing on this champion.
He's managed to pick up that core of champions that works super well in this meta, super well with how his team wants to play, and we're kind of seeing it here. Just look for an engage, and it gets turned around real fast.
I don't mind Cog looking for something on the paths. The teleport is maybe the only way you're back into this game, but without the Kai'Sa follow-up, didn't have ult anyway, so even if she was on that same side of the map, would have been very difficult. Ace knows what's up, has the smash, has the explosion follow-up from Boogie as well, but Paz doesn't even need to back off in this play. Goes in, gets the call of the Forge God, manages to drop aggro halfway through that, and with his 2 upgraded items, and they're both armor reps as well, not even caring about Nagi's damage, and the majority AD damage coming out of Art with this lethality build coming out along, well, half lethality, the extra Dirk chucked in there. This Ornn is going to be very, very hard to kill.
Okay, so that's the goal graph. It is over 11,000 right now. It's nearly 12,000.
It does look like a tsunami when it's looked like that whole wave of blue there.
Oh, Justice might be in trouble because Paz has found his way down the river. Here comes an Ash Arrow. The Call of Forge God only hits on the pink a little ways away, but the fight will continue. And anyway, Solar Flare out from Nagi, but the fight is still going really wrong because the collateral damage did most of the health bars of Justice. Decent knockup from Cog, but it's still not enough. And this Graves and this Ash are running over the back of the fight. Art desperately trying to find something. Flash out from the knockup from Ornn. Nagi's gone back in. That'll be a kill for Art, but that's all they'll get. It is still going to be a triple onto Archer. It'll be 4 kills overall, rather 5 kills overall for only the 1 death on the side of V3, and they're now going to shove into this inhibitor. They've got a minion wave. They've got 20 seconds. They may well to end.
The fat lady's not singing. She's screaming, stop. They're already dead. 18-2. V3 will look to go 7-0, finishing off their round robin undefeated.
And that means as V3 move on to the Nexus turrets, move on to trying to end the game, it's going to be Hachimecha up and some respawn timers. There's going to be one final fight to try and find something, and Hachimecha falls again for his 5th death of the game. Cog trying to get out, trying to end this game, trying to get something as Pink and Nagi and now Art will try and find one final fight to save it all. There's a teleport coming back in. There are some low health bars from V3. That's a shutdown onto the Galio. That's good news for Art, but he's got to try and survive the open Nexus as Boogie finds a collateral damage kill onto Pink. There's 2 dead versus 1 dead. They're going to try and get another, but that's a good stopwatch. That's an arrow onto the back end of Art, and Art does manage to kill her instinct forwards, but gets nothing. It's a double. It's another near ace, and they are going to get this. It wasn't ace. It's just Hachimecha respawned. I apologize. And it still will be the end for V3, even if Rascal Jester tried to fight their way out at the end. 23 kills in 24 minutes. V3 are your best team in the LJL right now.
Just shy of 1 kill a minute. V3 look as good as ever. And to speak more on them, speak more at the matter at hand, we need to take ourselves to a quick break. Join us soon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the LJL Official, Unofficial coverage of the LJL Summer, or 2020 Summer Split. I still your host, Alex, otherwise known as Lexi by Master on the internet, and of course I'm joined by your casters you just had of Initialize and Nightmare. Gentlemen, how can you put it lightly that this game felt very decided after about 5 minutes, and it just kept going in that momentum like a boulder going down a hill? It felt very hard to stop. 5k at 12 minutes, 10k at 20 minutes. V3 look strong, to say the least, right?
And you can look at, Cloud9 in North America and watch some of their games and just kind of say, it's just always kind of inevitable. V3 they just load into this game, they blunt the early moves from Rascal Jester, they fight really well late. Nothing went against them this game. No. Nothing.
Yeah. And there was very little in the way of things that the Jesters could do to stop the snowball either. Every play they made went wrong. You saw the level 2 gank in particular, right? They tried to find something bot, didn't work. After that, well, it's like everything goes wrong real fast pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, they were just so strong on everything. I mean, let's talk about the two men on the team who had the highest KDA, that being Ace first. Ace is just continues game after game after game, especially on this Galio pick, but we've seen him play other picks. Just seems to have found a spot for him on this team, right?
And don't get me wrong, I don't think Ace has the champion pool of someone like Seros or Arya, but his effective champion pool is miles ahead of where it was. And if we're talking about most improved players from spring to summer, he's probably the most. If I'm thinking about it, I think he's probably the guy in the front running. I haven't thought about it. Well, maybe we can talk about that on a podcast someday, something like that. But
nice
considering how much his Galio's improved from the playoff game versus DFM, this guy is looking really solid, and he's looking very confident in the way he's making aggressive plays too.
Yeah, well, Ace looking strong and maybe most improved, but someone that definitely isn't most improved, only continuing at the level of play that they began at, and that's Boogie, right? Initialize?
Oh, yeah, completely. He got the more efficient clear. We talked about it in cast, how he had his camps up at a better timing than Hachimecha, was still around for when Hachimecha was looking for that gank early, prevented that from happening, and every objective he was there, got to go lethality, was putting out monolithic damage on the Graves, teamed up well to get the first blood in the top side with Cog, found picks with... called him Boogie. Ace in the mid lane.
Boogie found picks with also Boogie.
Yeah, and that was the kind of space it was at. Like, the one time he got engaged on by Hachimecha, just turned around and killed him. Like, just flat out turned around and murdered him. I mean, at that point, they were 10,000 gold ahead, so you kind of expect it. But snowballed exceptionally well, was in the right place at the right time. A lot of praise to be had.
Huge amount of praise to be had, and I mean, to be honest, Paz had a very solid game. I don't believe he died at all this game.
He died one time in the last team fight around Dragon.
Oh, okay, so died once, and I mean, Archer and Reiner had phenomenally solid jobs. They were just everywhere when they needed to be. Amazing set ults, and obviously that important Ash arrow to catch out Cog when he was trying to escape, but was denied. All members of V3 just really seem to be on it. And what can we say for Rascal Jester? We kind of went in with this expectation, but what can Rascal Jester take from this?
I liked their initial first clear plan from Jarvan. Try and get a level 2 gank into bot lane, try and upset things there. Get your Kai'Sa ahead, see if you can do something with that. Didn't work out. They got blunted. They kind of sniffed out very early into the game. But, if you were going to win this game against a team the caliber of V3, that's kind of what you have to do if you don't have that strong level 1 we were talking about. I don't mind that, but then they kind of rammed themselves head first into some really bad fights, and that's a little more distressing because that didn't seem like so much of a solid game plan.
I mean, I will say for me, I think it was actually for me, I think vision control was a big deal where they were looking for picks, but basically all they could see was Reiner, who was baiting every single time. There was the one where they tried to find him just before, I think it would have been the second Rift Herald fight, where they think they found him, and Galio is sitting off to one side on one pink ward. Boogie is sitting behind him on another pink ward. And they go for an engage on Reiner, who has stopwatch, has a lot of defensive stats at that point. He uses the Haymaker, in comes the Galio, in comes the Graves, and it's immediately turned around. And I don't blame them for looking for something, but there are steps before that you need to make if you want to catch things out, and making sure you've cleaned house of vision at least first is more important than trying to look for a random pick onto a set who's already so tanky.
Yeah, it really is. And making sure you don't lose the game at the 24-minute mark is also a pretty good idea. V3 just were in dominant performance, and there's not really much more to say. You watched the game, we had these two gentlemen cast the game, I observed the game, and well, that's all she really wrote. Congratulations to V3, looking strong. That's Rascal Jester going 1-1, so not a terrible week, especially when you're against V3 that week. Have to feel happy about that, I think, from Rascal Jester's point of view.
Sure. Keeping things ticking over.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep ticking over. A few more points definitely helps with that playoff cushion, especially as it might still get very tight towards the end for the lower level of, well, the bracket, because it's almost like a bracket now. There's two tiers. But to talk about the rest of that bracket, we've still got 2 more games to see, and that's going to be our third game is going to be the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming facing off against Axis on their first game of the day. We're going to go for a short break, but we'll be right back with more LJL action. Don't go anywhere.